Introduced early in the first Cylon War, the Raptor series is a versatile design of small spacecraft easily adaptable to fill a wide range of roles. Although unarmed as standard, the Raptor's frame allows it to accept missile and gun pods, ECM jammers, and chaff launchers as the mission requires. However, the term standard Raptor is something of a misnomer, as due to its wide array of variants, you can likely find versions which come equipped as standard with all manner of features and systems. That differs from the basic design that was introduced so long ago. The craft measures in at 8.5 meters long, with the basic airframe being 5 meters wide and 5 tall. However, added weapons and sensors would increase the dimensions and weight of the craft considerably. However, at much beyond 50 extra tons of weight, the ship's performance is massively downsized. So, most pilots try to fly with considerably lighter loads than this maximum. The craft was capable of operating both in atmosphere and in a vacuum. Acting as primarily a screening and scout unit and fighter command and coordination vehicle, the little craft also served numerous additional functions during its life. The Raptor came equipped with a typical crew of 2, though it could carry 3 with little apparent difficulty. The ship's small passenger/cargo section aft of the cockpit also permitted it to serve to a limited extent as a shuttle or freight hauler if needed. A very useful feature for smaller ships that may not be able to carry larger cargo and shuttle designs in their much reduced shuttle and hangar spaces. Even in the years prior to the Cylon Rebellion and the subsequent war, various colonial military forces fielded what could be considered predecessors to the Raptor. These often being small two-man vehicles which could serve either as bomber or fighter command control craft. Upon the outbreak of the war and the combination of the various colonial militaries into the singular overarching colonial fleet, these craft found themselves serving in almost every conceivable niche. Development of a single new ship to replace this hodgepodge of makes and models began soon after the outbreak of the war, with several designs being ultimately selected for limited production and frontline use by the colonial fleet in action to test out which design would eventually emerge as the finalized product. The model which eventually entered service would be a bit of an amalgamation of the initially submitted designs, combining features and components of various design elements of these predecessors into a single hull. Although it received the bold designation of Raptor from Colonial Fleet Command, the ship's insect-like appearance and early model's sluggish handling gave the ship all manner of unofficial nicknames, with Pig, Cow, Drunken Fly, Toaster, The Brick, and The Little Shoe That Could being among the most common nicknames, as well as the most family-friendly. Despite the derogatory nicknames given to the craft, the ship's combat record would prove exemplary, with the basic model of the ship being constantly updated and serving in numerous roles with distinction. The Raptor was initially designed to serve as a scout and picket ship, with a secondary function as a fighter command and control ship, working with squadrons of Vipers and using its superior sensors to direct the fighters to their targets. However, these fairly limited roles were soon expanded upon as the war dragged on and more different mission profiles were needed by Colonial Fleet. Surprisingly, the Raptor proved to be a remarkably capable strike craft, supporting both ground operations and as a bomber after a series of prototypes failed to fill the role within Colonial Fleet. In these roles, Raptors often found themselves fitted with all manner of improved armor, improvised by their crews for whatever added protection they could find. The type served throughout the Cylon War and beyond, steadily updated both during and after the conflict, and in its current service afterwards, the Raptor may differ little in outside appearance between its earliest and latest versions, but the inside of the ship differed considerably, with many models being virtually new ships compared to their predecessors. The most notable improvements made to the Raptor during its life after the conclusion of the Cylon War would be the addition of FTL jump capability to the craft, with miniaturized technology allowing the vessel to keep pace with fleet formations and greatly extend the range at which it could operate away from its mothership. By the time of the Second War and the fall of the 12 colonies of Kobol, the Raptor was omnipresent in the colonial fleet, with some pilots within the fleet being second or even third generation Raptor pilots, a testament to the ship's duration of service and sheer adaptability. Becoming an icon during a very long service and production life, the Raptor excelled in whatever role it found itself serving in. The little ship that could was hugely adaptable, seeing itself built into a wide range of variants, both from the factory and in the hands of its crews to suit any and all possible need. The craft was never considered visually very attractive, but those who piloted it loved their little ships and would defend its honor whenever it was criticized by hotshot Viper pilots or fleet people. Not that this prevented the Raptor crews themselves from insulting the ship's appearance and the privacy of their own comms channels during missions.